Hi, welcome back to another episode of Energy Works. I'm here with Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Hey, Blaine.
What we want to talk with you about today really came from me. It's a practice that I do every single evening as part of my bedtime ritual. If you have been studying sleep with me at all recently, I recently did a course where we talked about sleep quite a bit. We talked about these rituals that you can do in the morning and at night to set up these patterns in your body so your body knows, hey, it's time to wake up and go, and hey, it's time to wind down and go to sleep. And in the wind down and go to sleep department, this is absolutely one of mine. I created a long time ago for myself, and it's called clearing the gates of the hands and feet. Gait is spelled Gait, but Lauren and I were laughing before we hit record because we have also seen it Gate. Even in published books, we have seen it Gate. But it is actually Gait from energetic kinesiology, which we also use this in energy medicine. And what they are is it's a reflex point. And we talk about reflex points in other aspects of energy medicine, but the gates are energetic reflex points that when touched, rubbed, triggered, energize, create other things to happen in the body around them. Specifically, this is in the hands and feet. And in a nutshell, it is a massage. It's massaging your hands and massaging your feet to open up flow of energy in places where it has a high propensity to get stuck. And then in my case, I have a very dry constitution and I have dry skin. And so I apply moisturizer to my hands and feet as one of the last things I do before I close my eyes to sleep at night. And that's how this clearing the gates became a ritual for me because I was already applying the moisturizer. I just started to apply it in a very specific way because my hands and feet get really dry if I don't stay on top of it. Lauren, do you clear the gates every day?
I love that you do that at night with the cream or the oils because that is, especially oiling the feet, one of the things that really supports a healthy sleep pattern. So you know that and you do that and it's so beautiful. I do clear the gates all the time. I don't have it. I mean, we've had these conversations before that you are very meticulous about and structured about how you do things. And I feel like I'm like the Wild West out there. I'm like, yeah, I clear the gates, but I just do them whenever. But I do them all the time. And I do just do them whenever. We just went on a hike this morning and driving home in the car, I was clearing the gates on my feet. It feels so good. And one of the things, I know you're going to talk a little bit more about what the gates are, but they can often be very tender or sore, and especially if you use your hands a lot or you use your feet a lot. And what we know is that pain is giving you information. Ultimately, nothing, best case scenario, nothing should feel painful in the body ever. But of course, we know that that's often not the case. And so working with the gates gives me such a feedback loop about what other areas of the body I might need to pay attention to, or just the gates themselves are often sore, which is also giving me information that I've got energy that is stuck in the body. And if I can clear it when that pain is at a very like 1 or 2 level, then I can stop it from getting to a level where then I need intervention.
Yeah. So Lauren, do you want to dive into the meridian side of the gates and then I will dive into the energetic kinese side?
Sure. So how I first learned gates, and it's so funny, the AIT or the ATE, because I honestly, now I think it's both. I think they are both the gates, which is AIT, ambulatory, how you walk on your feet, how you are able to use all the flexors and the proprioceptors in their feet and ankles to support yourself. How the asana, which is the foot, the base of the pose, supports you when you're standing and walking, is very related to what's going on in your feet, which is related to what's going on in the rest of the body. So the gait, AIT, is very apropos of how that is working. Are you able to have a comfortable, steady, and strong gait? In other words, a comfortable and strong, steady way of walking. And then gate, GATE, the sort of a closure in a fence line or an opening in a fence line, is also very apropos because these points, which are on the hands and the feet, are really access points, and they can be either open or closed. And so that idea of them being a gate, are they allowing energy and information through them, or are they holding energy or information back? And so they occur on the hands and the feet. So we've got meridians, which are the pathways of energy that run through the body, all through the body. And the beginning and end points of them predominantly happen on the hands and the feet. There are points that begin and end on the face, and then there are points that begin and end on the core of the body. But we have a lot of them on the hands and the feet, specifically on the tips and edge of each of the fingers and each of the toes. So I'm holding my hands up now, and you can see my fingers, and then in between each finger, there's space, but then where the fingers meet is this little gully, this connective tissue, this webbing. And right in the webbing is where the gates are. And so you can see if you just look at your hand or you look at your toes, it is a place where something could get stuck. It's where you can interlace all your fingers together. It's where the edge of the mitten or the edge of the glove sits. Like, it is a point on the body where things end. But even though the meridian points technically end there, they actually, that wasn't the right word, because they technically don't end there. Your meridians are one line of energy through the whole body. They go back and forth, up and down the legs, up and down the body. They don't ever end. And so what happens is it's like those 90-degree hairpin turns. The energy is coming along the road, and then there's a literal 90-degree turn. It's got to go around the corner and then back the same way it came. Is that a 180? Maybe that's a 180-degree turn. I think that's a 180. Yeah. So the hairpins, thank you. The hairpin's a 180, and that's where energy can get stuck. And so we want to clear in those gullies on the fingers and on the toes so that all of the meridian energy that's running up and down the body and that is animating the body has that easy, free flow pathway to do that.
That was really good. For those of you who are listening and not walking, Lauren just picked up her bare foot and lifted it and put it in front of the camera with her toes spread. And I would have probably fallen off my stool and knocked over my microphone if I tried to do that. That was very graceful. Good job.
And I'll show you the technique in a little bit, but Blaine's going to talk a little bit more about what the gates actually are and another energy cool thing that they do.
Yeah, and I can only imagine that when Donna, because this isn't Donna's protocol, clearing the gates of the hands and feet. That's where I learned it. I can assume that's where Lauren learned it. And so I have to believe that Donna sees the gates as places where energy gets stuck. And that's why she teaches everybody how to work with this stuck energy. And in the exercise I studied exercise kinesiology in college, but now I'm studying energy kinesiology. And so in the energy kinesiology world, they have gaits, Gaits, which are not in the gullies that Lauren described. They are actually between the metatarsals and metacarpals of the hands and feet. So the hands are metacarpals. So it's literally in your palm. You have between the gullies that Lauren showed between your fingers. If you draw your fingers down, you're in a space between two bones. And those bones that are in the palm of your hand are the metacarpals. And then you have the equivalent in the foot, and those are called the metatarsals. And so the gaits, Gaits, in energy kinesiology are points that are in the palm of the hand and the back of the hand and the sole of the foot and the top of the foot between those bones. And they are reflex points. And they're points that are energy tested. We did an episode on energy testing last week, and they energy test these gait reflex points in energy kinesiology to see if they are stuck or if energy is flowing through them. So in a GATE kind of way, is the gate open or is the gate closed of these points, these reflex points? And the reason why they care about these reflex points is because these points send signals throughout the hand and the foot, the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, the top of the hand, the bottom of the hand. And if you can imagine walking, it's that gait like Lauren was talking about. Do I shift my weight forward, back? Is the ground unsteady? Do I how are my feet responding to everything that they're encountering as they ambulate me forward? And the same with the hands, as I'm gripping, as I'm writing, as I'm typing, as I'm washing dishes, filling a glass of water, cooking. Is the energy flowing through my hands? And so as my hands can move and grip and extend. And then if you are a yoga person, do a handstand, do downward facing dog, get on the ground, play with my kids. All of these things are my hands working in that way. And if the energy is not flowing through them, then no. And then the energy is trying to compensate and repattern, and it's stuck and it creates pain points, maybe injuries, and you're just not operating as a human to your full potential. We have a huge number of our bones in our hands and feet. There's a lot going on in our hands and feet. And so we need them to be operational. So they energy test them and then clear them in the way that Donna teaches us. And so I think that Donna sees all of this, right? She sees what's happening between the long bones. She sees what's happening between the fingers. And really, it's the same problem, right? Energy is not flowing through the meridians, through the reflex points that are sending signals throughout the brain and body. And so this diligence about clearing between the bones of the feet and between the toes and the fingers and the hands, because so much of the energy is running through our hands and feet. Lauren, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, yes, I think there's 25 bones in each hand and 26 bones in each foot. And a lot of people get carpal tunnel syndrome. You talked about the carpal bones in the hand. That's where that name comes from, carpal tunnel. That is, it starts with energy just being stuck in the hands from repetitive actions. And then with the feet, in Chinese medicine, one of the ways that you kind of monitor a client or a patient is the health of their feet. The feet are directly related to your longevity. And so the healthier and more and supple and strong that the feet are, that is an indication of your health span as well as your lifespan. And so again, we wear crazy shoes. We could do a whole episode on shoes, but people wear crazy shoes. And then there's the whole barefoot thing as well. People spending a long time standing on their feet, which does things that aren't that great for the feet, but people spending a long time sitting in chairs, which also isn't great for the feet. And so, and then walking in any kind of shoe that is restrictive, and wearing, heavy boots, just all kinds of things. The feet have an enormous amount of pressure put on them, both physiologically and I want to say emotionally too, really. Your feet are like carrying everything there. So there's a lot going on with the feet and the weight of the body on the feet. And so these gait reflexes are so important for our overall health. So, and it feels really good to work the gaits, and you know that you need them when you first start working the gaits, and it is unbelievably painful because that is giving you information that there's energy that is stuck there and you need to start working with them. Blaine does it daily. I do it daily. This is something that we encourage all of our students and teachers to do, is daily. And it feels really good. I don't have my oil right here. You can do it with oil or you can do it without oil. Blaine, do you want to show the hands and I'll show the feet?
Sure. Before I do that, yeah, I'll let you stick your feet up. Before I do that, so stuck energy, that's these painful points. It's super common to get this stuck energy. And stuck energy means too much energy because it's like the traffic jam. If you can imagine the highway and there's a wreck and everything is stopped and the cars are piling up and piling up and piling up and it's too much. It's the highway's jammed, everything's overheating. And that's what's happening when we have stuck energy. So when we are working to release this stuck energy, we want to kind of pull it off the body. And so when I'm doing the hands and the feet, I'm really like, I know a lot of you can't see me, but I'm taking my hand and I'm pulling energy off my fingers, just like pulling, because that's one of the points of this is getting the energy to flow, but also kind of getting the excess energy off. And you talked about carpal tunnel. I think it's called Dupuytren's contracture. It's like these contracted tendons. There's pharmaceutical commercials. You can like take drugs for this. They used to call it the Vikings disease. It was thought that it was from those genetics. Now I think there's people without it who they found who have it. I don't really know. But anyway, I have this. And it's another big reason that I do it every single day because, I also like push my hands backwards, like my fingers back to elongate my fingers. Because what happens with the contracture is your fingers bend. And like I already can't like put, this right hand to my left hand. It's not as bad. But I know I have a lot of stuck energy in my hand from this problem that I have. And so, but for everybody, pulling the excess energy as you go is great because the stuck energy is just too much. So the way you do it, like Lauren said, with something like a lotion or oil or not, is you find the bones between the fingers on your palm. So I'm just going to start between my pointer finger and my thumb, and there's that gully, and then just massage down to where I can find those bones touch each other, and then start working away. So I'm working towards the gully between my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm pulling energy off. I'm pinching off. And then I go back between my pointer finger and my middle finger, and I massage. And if it's sore, I give it extra massaging because that says, whoa, stuck point. I give that a little extra massage and I pull off between the gully, a little pinch. And I do that between each of my fingers. And then I start at the base of my thumb and I massage up my entire thumb. And if I feel a sore point in any of the bones in my thumb or in my knuckle or anything like that, I give it extra and I pinch off the tip of my thumb. And so the hands you have to do one at a time because they're hands. Your feet, if you can come in butterfly or something like that, you can do both feet at once. But I do one hand and then I do the other and then just really try to pull off the excess energy. Sometimes I flick my fingers a few times, shake off my hand, and then move to the other one.
And then it's the exact same thing for your feet. You're going to massage down. So I can't show you the top of my foot from this angle, but I'm right below the ball of the foot, on the top of the foot, right where the bones start to meet. And I'm just massaging down between the long bones and then taking a pinch in that gully. And then you're going to do that off in between all of the bones, the long bones of the feet, and then a pinch off in the gully. And really take extra time to do that pinch in the gully, because that is often where that energy gets really stuck. And I'll go down the bones several times, but then I'll always end doing a bunch of pinches. And if I only have like a second or I'm in the car and I'm taking my shoes off, I'll sometimes just pinch the gullies. I just want to clear those endpoints. And then I'm going to do the same thing that Blaine did, going down the length of the toe bone itself, all the way, and pinch off the tip of each toe. So you're just going back as far as you can on the foot, and then you're always working off the toes. So you're starting back into the midfoot, and then you're working off the toe, and then again, that little pinch on the end. You can do both feet at the same time if you can reach them, either doing a full forward bend or a seated, any kind of seated pose, but you can do them one at a time as well. And it feels so good and so nurturing and so grounding.
Yeah, grounding is a great word. It's like you're never upset you just cleared the gates of the hands and feet. It's always a positive experience. You might be like a chore when you dig into it, but when you're done, it is a positive experience. Your energy is really happy and it's palpable.
And if you're with friends and or your family, it's something that you can do to somebody else, and it feels so beautiful and sharing and nurturing for them as well. You always, if you're doing it on somebody else, you want to check in with them that you're not pressing too hard. Something that might feel great for you might be a little tender on someone else, especially if you're working with someone who's a little bit older. As we age, we both get more sensitivity in the hands and less flexibility in the hands and feet as well. And so if you're working with someone that's a little bit older, you want to just be a little bit lighter, but also firm and just be in contact with them. But it's also it's a really beautiful exchange. It's something really loving that you can do. You don't need to be, have a massage training and a degree and, all that kind of stuff. You can just take someone's hand lovingly and massage their fingers or someone's feet. And it's such a beautiful, nurturing thing to do.
It is. Yeah, it's really special to share that with someone. Lauren, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I don't think so. Just get out some. If you do oil your feet at night, do you wear little pads afterwards on your feet?
No, I do on my hands sometimes, though.
You do? Okay. All right. Keep the moisture in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If I'm really, I'll get like cracking, bleeding skin, that sort of thing. It's one of the reasons why I winter in Florida, because it's really when I come back to Colorado in March that I will have cracking fingers and that sort of thing. So if it's that bad, then I will put a glove on my hand. Like this time of year, no.
Okay. So yeah, taking care of your hands is really important to do. And it feels really good. So check it out and drop us a note in here that you tried the technique and that you enjoyed it and you did it with your friends or your lovers and they enjoyed it too, and let us know how it's going for you energetically. We love to hear from you. So thanks for tuning in.